Hello guys and welcome back. So guys, this is going to be the second video of my little simple recycle view tutorial. So if you guys haven't done part 1 yet, I definitely recommend you go do it because this is a continuation of that. This is part 2. Alright, so in part 1, all we did was make a little layout. So we go rest here, layout, and I'm just going to show it to you guys really quick. So this is going to be the layout of each of the elements inside our recycle view. Nothing too fancy, like I said, this is a simple one. And so now step 2 guys, we actually need to define an object of what we want our recycle view to hold. In this case, we want it to be restaurant. So we're going to come into Java here, go into your main package, right click new, Java class, and we're just going to call this one restaurant. So, or let's capitalize that, restaurants. Yeah, sorry for the terrible spelling, please forgive that. And okay, so this is just going to be a simple object. And it's going to have, let's just give it a few fields. So the first one's going to be privates. It's going to be a string. Well, they're all going to be strings, but this is just going to be the name. So let's just call it name. The next one is going to be hours. And finally, we also need a little image. So string. And let's just call this one picture URL. And this is going to be what our restaurant object has as fields. And let's actually do a constructor. Now the way I'm doing that guys, I'm just going alt insert constructor and I'm just going to shift press down. It's really cool to use shortcuts and Android Studios. It makes you a lot faster. So just go ahead and get used to them now. Okay. Next thing we need guys, we actually need a getter. So let's just do that as well with the little shortcuts. And so now we have our restaurants object completed with a constructor and a getter. Our constructor has a name, hours, and the picture URL. Remember that this is surprisingly the same as how our actual layout looks like, with the picture here, the name, and the hours. Okay, so that's step 2. You just need an object to kind of just model your data. So after we have that, guys, we move on to step 3, and it's actually making a recycle view holder. Let's come here, right click new, and we're just going to call this one restaurant view holder. Is fine. So this is going to extend our recycle view adapter or recycle view dot view holder. Alrighty, so here we go. We also need, so when you guys have this red squiggly line here, in case you guys don't know, it just means that you're missing some methods. So if you just click alt enter enter, sometimes it's a method, sometimes it's a constructor. In this case, it was a constructor, but if you do that, it just kind of fills out what you need for you. Now you guys might be wondering, what is a view holder? So if you just think about the name view holder, if we actually come into our layout, these are our views here. We have a few views here. We have an image view, a progress bar, a text view, and another text view. So we have 4 views. And what this is going to do is going to hold these views. And we're also going to make a populate method that's going to allow our adapter to populate each of those elements. Okay. So I actually want to grab another dependency really quick. Let's actually come back here into our handy dandy web browser and just go ahead and type in Butterknife Android. Now, Butterknife is a very powerful view binding library that's going to just make things easier for us. I like to use Butterknife. You guys don't have to if you don't like to, but I personally like to use it. For this tutorial, just to try something new, I recommend you guys use it. So just type in Butterknife Android, click here. Let's actually come down here. We're going to need a dependency. So it's just another library like you guys saw with Picasso. And we're going to come here to these two. Let's grab these two here. So copy, copy, copy. Let's go back into our project really quickly. So let's go back into our build Gradle. We're going to paste these two here, but we do need a few more things with Butterknife. Let's go back into our web browser for a second. Click back here. So we want to just open up this one, the GitHub. So go ahead and open up GitHub with the Butterknife. And we're missing a few things. So we're actually missing this class path. So copy this class path. And this goes into our project Gradle. So it should be here, the project Gradle. So just go ahead and paste that down there. And we just need one more thing. We need a plugin, which is right there. So this plugin right here. Go back into your project and let's go back into our normal build Gradle, our module, and just paste that right below here. Okay, with that done, let's go ahead and sync this. Alright, so with that done, let's actually come back into our recycler view holder. So now we can use Butterknife and I'm going to show you guys how to do it. So we do have 4 views as I said before. So just app bind view. And we're going to grab reference to first our r.id.list. So here they are. These are all 4. Let's just grab the hours first. This is going to be a text view. And we're just going to call this one hours. App bind view r.id. dots, and then let's just grab this one. So there's going to be an image view, so image view, and we're just going to call this one picture. These are very indescriptive names, but that's fine. It's okay for now. This is just for practice, so it's fine. App bind view r.id, and we're just going to call this one list, and the name, so the restaurant name here. There's going to be a text view. Let's just call it name. And just one more, guys, we do need another bind view, and I believe this is going to be the progress bar, which it is. And so we're going to grab our progress bar here, or not, definitely not that. So progress bar, let's just call this one progress bar is fine. Okay, so now we have reference to all 4 of our views. Now we're actually going to bind this inside the view holder. So right after this super constructor, just type in butterknife dot bind, and inside here we're going to bind this comma item view. Okay, looks good. And so now all of our views, so now we can actually have reference to all of our views. So essentially what we did here, guys, is pretty much the same thing as saying. I'm going to make a quick example. So maybe text view, let's just call this one hours 2 is going to be equal to text view, item view, dots, find view by ID, r.id, dots. There we go. That's pretty much the same thing. What we did here with butterknife, it's the same thing as saying this. But in my opinion, it's just a lot better to do. It's faster, it's easier. Okay, so now that that's done, we actually just need to do one more thing, guys. That's going to make a populate method. So we're going to say public void populate. So now inside our populate method, we're going to need 2 things. The first thing we're going to need is to pass in a context, because we are going to need this context for our Picasso, as you guys will see in a bit. The next thing we need is actually to pass in a restaurant. So restaurants, and let's just say restaurants. Okay, looks good. So now inside this populate method, the first thing we're going to do is just say item view dot set tag and restaurants. And this is going to be more apparent as to why later. For right now, just kind of roll with it. When we do our adapter, it will make more sense. Okay, so that's it. Now we actually need to populate each of these text views by this restaurant. So let's start with hours. Well, let's actually start with the name. So the name dot set text. So now the text is going to be whatever the restaurant's name is. So restaurants dot get name. Okay, so simple. Next thing we need the hours. So hours dot set text. Restaurants dot get hours. So now we just need to grab a picture in the progress bar. So the way how we're going to do this, guys, is we're going to use Picasso. So let's just type in Picasso dot width. Now we do need context, which is why this is here. Context. And we're going to say dot load. So now we're going to load the restaurant dot get picture URL. So we're going to load that picture URL inside this image view. Now we're going to say dots. First, we're going to say fit, and we're going to say center crop. This is going to allow the picture to be kind of just cropped in the middle. And this is better just because if we just allow the whole picture to load, it might make our app slow. By just allowing the picture to be kind of just loaded halfway or just in the center, it saves a lot of time and memory, which is really important. And now we're going to say dots into. So now the into is going to be the picture here. So just type in picture. And if you guys remember, I did have this progress bar. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a new callback. And I just typed in new and then just type in C and enter. And on success, so once Picasso's done loading, we're just going to say progress bar dot set visibility, and we're just going to say gone. Because now that the picture's done loading, we don't need the progress bar anymore. Remember, this progress bar is just to allow the user to see that something is happening. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So we have this view holder now. So that we have finished 2 steps. The first step was just to add a model here, which is our restaurant. So it has a name, hours, and picture URL. And then the second step, or the third step, was just to make this view holder. So the last things we need is an adapter, and finally just putting it into the UI. Alright guys, so that's all I have for this video. We're going to finish this off in the next 2 videos. I will see you guys then.